Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Generational Wealth Management Saturday morning look back show with JB Graphics on the YDL Sports Network. I'm JB Graphics. JB, I think a lot of you guys know who I am, Jared, whatever you want to call me or whatever. This morning's show is sponsored by Generational Wealth Management. John Bon Giovanni, Lucas Slazak, and Adam Jack of Generational Wealth Management in Erie and Bradford are here for your investment needs. They offer world-class investment services and internationally recognized insurance products from Northwestern Mutual, an industry leader. Find out more at gwm.nm.com. Before we get started, let's step away and thank some of our sponsors.
Whether retirement is just around the corner or years away, John Bon Giovanni, Lucas Slazak, and Adam Jack of Generational Wealth Management in Erie and Bradford are here for you. John, a Forbes-recognized best-in-state wealth advisor, Lucas and Adam provide customized investment advisory solutions and retirement planning services. Generational Wealth Management offers world-class investment services and internationally recognized insurance products from Northwestern Mutual, an industry leader. The Generational Wealth Management team provides a high level of expertise and service to their professional and business clients. Contact the Erie office at 814-651-0838 or the Bradford office at 814-368-4065 or check them out online at gwm.nm.com. Looking for affordable auto, home, and life insurance? Look no further than Allstate Insurance, the David Jones Agency in Clarion and Meadville. At the David Jones Agency, you get personalized attention from someone who lives where you do. The David Jones Agency meets you where you are. They are available during regular business hours, Monday through Friday at their office, via appointment at the office after hours, or remotely. The David Jones Agency also offers investment opportunities, including annuities and IRAs. The David Jones Agency can be reached in Clarion at 814-223-4000 and in Meadville at 814-337-5107.
All right, we are ready for this show this morning. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good. I'm Chris Rossetti.
Brian Hagberg, doing very well this morning, Jared.
Yeah, we're finally here. Football season's finally here. Week 1's in the book. Well, at least Friday night's action is. We still got a couple games this afternoon. But you guys were at some games. Chris, you want to go first and talk about the game you were at?
My game. Wow. I really know where to start. It was 7-7 Smethport Red Bank Valley at the end of the first quarter. At halftime, it was 57-7. Yes, you heard that right, folks. 50 unanswered points in the second quarter by Red Bank Valley. Really even more amazing. All of them basically took place between the 8-minute mark and the 1.5-minute mark. 50 points in 7.5 minutes. I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that.
Were they like 3-and-outs and stuff afterwards, or turnovers? Or
there were a couple of pick sixes. There was a block punt, two block punts in there, a couple of big plays. But it turned south. It was actually 7-0 Smethport. That game had 3 pick sixes in it. Smethport had a pick six, one in Roundsville, and then 2 pick sixes by Red Bank Valley in the second quarter.
What about you, Brian? How was your game that you were at?
So I was up on the hill in Russell, had Eisenhower and Cochranton, and slow start to the game offensively for both teams. And then all of a sudden, the nice passing attack kind of woke up in the second quarter. Sean Pascuzzi and Chris Bunk connected 5 times for 107 yards and 3 touchdowns. And all of a sudden, it was 28-13 heading into the half. And then Pascuzzi ran in a couple more scores in the third quarter, really blew that game wide open. But kind of expected that might happen. Cochranton is a team that's just struggled to find its footing offensively the last year, year and a week now. And, Eisenhower we knew would have to find a way to replace record-setting rusher in Benji Bauer, and it seems like they've got a nice combination there with Pascuzzi and Bunk, and they're allowing Pascuzzi to open things up a little bit in the running game too. Had some really nice play action fakes too. Had Cochranton really biting on those fakes, so could be a good weapon for them going forward. But they'll have a stiff test next week at Cambridge Springs.
Brian, let's take a look at you had an interview there with Chris Bunk at the end of that. Let's take a quick about 4-minute interview here with Chris Bunk of the Eisenhower Knights, and we'll be doing this, folks, throughout this show, adding in some interviews and some stuff like that. But here's Chris Bunk for the Eisenhower Knights.
Now we can see there. There he is.
Not the first time I had this headset on.
No, it's certainly not. Eisenhower's Chris Bunk, our Jim Kelly Player of the Game, powered by the Allegheny Grill in Foxburg. This is our Player of the Game interview brought to you by Cole Orthodontic Associates with convenient locations in Ridgeway, St. Mary's, and Warren. You can get your game-winning smile with Cole Orthodontic Associates. And Chris, first of all, congratulations. Big win for you guys to start the season.
Thank you. Thank you.
It seemed like the offense took a little bit to get going for you guys, but then once you found your rhythm, especially in the first half, you and quarterback Sean Pascuzzi really had something going in the passing game. What was working for you in the first half?
I guess our ability to change on cue. They were reading a lot of my routes real quick off the bat, but Penley called us over in the timeout, and we can make those adjustments real quick. I feel like that's one of our strong suits this year. So our change on the go, I guess.
And one of the things that that's been talked about and people have wondered about with the losses that you guys had from your senior class a year ago was who would step up on the field in those leadership roles. And it certainly looked like, especially again in that first half, that you were kind of taking that upon your shoulders. Had a big play defensively, laid a hit on quarterback Walker Carroll, ended up in an interception, which resulted in a touchdown for you guys. Again, defensively, what were you seeing from Cochranton that allowed you to get in the backfield?
Sometimes I go through untouched. They'd have a pulling guard, but I could beat the pulling guard on that one, luckily, and it just worked out for us. So I guess being untouched sometimes.
Yeah, being untouched when you're a pass rushing defensive end, a little bit helpful in that area.
A little bit.
You did end up, you had a number of pressures in the first half, did get a big sack there in the second half. And again, as a team, you guys come out, rack up 49 points in week one. How much confidence does this give you guys heading into a tough challenge in week two at Cambridge Springs?
A lot of confidence, and we need that confidence. Cambridge Springs is a great ball team, and Coach Penley has preached that to us all season and camp. But I think this will help us out a lot going into next week at Cambridge Springs.
And obviously not a perfect game, some things to clean up. And you could see Cody and I talked about it a number of times on the broadcast when you're kind of breaking in a new center, as it were, some of those snaps in the shotgun, work on those exchanges. But what are some other things just off the top of your head? Obviously this game is very fresh, but that you guys might be working on this week as you head into the big matchup with Cambridge?
A lot we need to work on. Everyone had mistakes. Not one person was perfect tonight, and that's how game football goes, especially week one. I guess personally for me, picking up the linebackers better. So I guess that's just my personal take on things.
And again, a lot of questions about what the offense was going to look like. I mean, obviously you guys were pretty ground and pound when you have a running back like Benji Bauer leading the way. We're able to get some things going in the passing game, and then you were able to turn it into a more of a run-oriented contest in the second half, especially with Sean Pascuzzi running, had scored a couple rushing touchdowns there in the second half. We mentioned on the broadcast his play action fakes tonight. Really, really convincing. Seemed like they had the defense going exactly where you guys wanted them to go and open up those lanes. How big is it that he's able to not only execute that play action fake, but then take off and run the way he can?
It helps us out so much, and this might be biased, but I think he's the best quarterback in D10 with that dual threat with the arm and the running. So it just helps us out more and more and gives us more opportunities to do things in our playbook.
Your opinion might be the best quarterback in D10. You're obviously going to make sure he's got the best head of hair in D10.
Of course.
Chris, we won't keep you. I know you want to get in the locker room, celebrate this win with your guys, but what do you got to do in week two at Cambridge Springs to run this regular season winning streak to 14 games?
Just keep working hard in practice, stepping up. Everyone needs to step up like they did this week, and just keep doing what we're doing, I guess.
All right, that is our Jim Kelly Player of the Game, powered by the Allegheny Grill in Foxburg. Eisenhower's Chris Bunk, thank you so much for stopping by. Congratulations. Enjoy the win tonight.
Thank you.
With convenient locations in DuBois, Ridgeway, St. Mary's, and Warren, you don't have to travel far to get your game-winning smile with Cole Orthodontic Associates. The orthodontists of Cole Orthodontic Associates have been crafting beautiful, healthy smiles in north central Pennsylvania since 1960. Born and raised in the area, the doctors and staff at Cole Orthodontic Associates are committed to the people of this region. Visit colesmiles.net to schedule an appointment or consultation at the location nearest you today. When it's your special day, we know you want everything to be just perfect. That's why at the Allegheny Grill in Foxburg, we spared no expense in creating our new indoor-outdoor wood-framed event center with waterfalls, gorgeous views of the Allegheny River, a fire pit, and plenty of parking. The Allegheny Grill in Foxburg will take care of everything from catering to bartending, so all you have to do is bring the fun. We do it all for your wedding, anniversary party, corporate event, and so much more. One look at our new facility and we know you'll fall in love. And remember, the view is always free at the Allegheny Grill in Foxburg, PA.
Welcome back here on the Generational Wealth Management Saturday morning look back show. And Chris Rossetti here, Jared Bakaisa in the center, Brian Hagberg on the left. And that was Chris Bunk there, Brian. Kind of felt that was how that game was going to go, though, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, Eisenhower came in with a lot of questions, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You got to replace a record-setting running back in Benji Bauer and 3/5 of your offensive line, and you could see that early in the game. It took a while for them to get things going, and as I mentioned in the interview, a number of fumbled snaps, a couple of fumbled exchanges. They recovered most of those, but did lose a couple of them along the way. So certainly something they're going to absolutely have to clean up before they head down to Cambridge Springs next week.
And, we talked a little bit about my game at Red Bank. Let's listen to Mason Klaus. He had 3 touchdowns, including a pick 6. And probably his favorite play, he caught a 2-point conversion out of one of those funky muddle huddle formations from his brother Owen, his twin brother Owen, which was a pretty cool moment in that first half. But here's Mason Klaus from Red Bank Valley.
Mason, it is 7-7 at the end of the first quarter. And then it's 50 points in that second quarter. Have you ever been involved in a second quarter quite like that one?
No, but I mean, if you think about it, 2 years ago against Keystone, same thing happened to us, and we didn't overcome that, but this time we did.
It started out as bad as it could have started out for you guys with the pick 6. How was the sideline at that point?
Yeah, we knew we were down. We knew we needed to keep our heads up, and I guess that's what we did, and we just came back and fought back and got it in the game.
You guys, a little bit of everything was working for you. Obviously, the passing game in that first quarter, and especially in that second quarter, 4 touchdowns from Braylon. What did you see from Braylon tonight?
He did great. I mean, he was getting hit left and right, but he was able to get the ball to us early, and we were able to do what we do.
And then the special teams, the couple block punts. How big is that to get a couple block punts?
That's huge, especially momentum going into that. We didn't score in the one block punt, but obviously we did on the other big gains.
And then the punt returns as well. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's nice. We have Owen doing it every time to give me and Ashton breaks. So it's good that he's able to go out there and be an athlete.
And then probably maybe what you'll find, I don't know, maybe this was the thing that you'll find makes the most fun of the night was catching the 2-point conversion from your brother.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Talk a little bit about that. Was that designed from the get-go, or were you guys waiting to see what they were showing you there?
We have to see what they show us, but that's obviously one thing we've been working on.
Just to come out and start the season 1-0, it's easy when you look at it and it's 71-7 and it's easy, but when you're coming into a new season, you don't really know what to expect, do you?
No, that's huge for us, getting momentum into the next game, and we know Karn City is going to be tough, so we have to prepare.
Here's our Allegheny Grill of Foxburg player of the game, Mason Klaus. Mason, I do not have a T-shirt today. I will get you a T-shirt. I do have something for you, so stick around here before we leave. Hold on. I need you to give me a big smile here. And I need you to give me a big smile because our player of the game interviews this year, folks, are brought to you by Cole Orthodontic Associates with convenient locations in Ridgeway, St. Mary's, and Warren. You can get your game-winning smile with Cole Orthodontics Associates. So that
Sounds like a good night for the Klaus brothers.
Just a little bit. Let's move over to District 10 here real quick. And Brian's kind of, I don't want to call him our expert, but a little bit more of an expert than Jared and I are on what's going on over in District 10. What a game there was there, Brian, between Sharpsville and Wilmington, 49-42, and kind of an exciting ending to that one.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about an early candidate for game of the year. You certainly get that in week 1. Excuse me. Just a back and forth game, and Wilmington had taken a 42-41 lead, and then Colin Summers comes back, long 60-plus yard touchdown, I believe it was, puts Sharpsville back in front with 25 seconds to go. And that game-winning touchdown was his 7th of the game. And so certainly Colin Summers, arguably maybe the game of the year in week 1, and certainly coming out and making a statement in week 1
living up
for
to
Sharpsville.
living up to what I think we all thought of Colin Summers. Brian, you and I talked earlier today that easily a top 5 player, if not a top 2 or 3 player in District 10.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and again, it's just, especially at the high school level, there's so many different factors that go into, who might be the best player in a district. Obviously Ethan Knox over there at Oil City, and Cooper Cousins, a big lineman up at McDowell, but Colin Summers, again, hard to argue. I mean, 7 touchdowns in one game, and really making a statement and leading his team to victory when they had to have it too.
Yeah, and Jared, you had a chance to talk to Colin, and here's Colin Summers.
All right, I got Colin Summers from Sharpsville, part of the Generational Wealth Management Saturday Morning Look Back. This interview is sponsored by Core Orthodontics. Colin, big win tonight for you guys. Talk about the game some.
What'd you say?
Talk about the game some. Started off the season with a big win.
It was a big rivalry game. Came in as a lot of emotion. Having it be a close game like that was a fun game, honestly.
Yeah, I heard the stats that I got. You had a pretty good game. 7 touchdown passes, including the game winner with 25 seconds left. Walk us through that play a little bit.
I go to the sideline, and we're just trying to pull a play out the bag, and he just we've been hitting him on the screens all night, so might as well just try a fake screen and go. So we tried it, and I just threw the ball up. I didn't even know where he was, honestly, and thank God he was just there to catch the ball.
Yeah, what seemed to be working on offense? Obviously, 7 touchdown passes is pretty big, but what were you seeing on offense that was kind of working?
All of it goes to Coach Grandy. I mean, he's watching every play. He sees what everyone's doing. He sees what the corner's doing. Next play, he's hitting his weakness. So I mean, he calls great plays, and I just follow his plays, and it works out.
Yeah, I was score watching all night, and it seemed to be like a back and forth game. But what's the mindset going into a game like that, where you get a lead, then it gets a little bit closer, and vice versa, or whatever? We'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we were getting a little too confident in the beginning. We were up 21-0, and then all of a sudden, he breaks the long run. They get a little momentum shift. So yeah, I mean, we got a little too confident, like the game was already over, but it wasn't already over. So we just had to keep playing hard. We kind of gave up a few touchdowns that we shouldn't really have gave up, but came back and won the game.
Getting a win like that the first week of the year for you guys, what's that say about your team and confidence moving forward this season?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't expecting to put up 49 points for sure, but we've been struggling in practice, defense, we're still putting our stuff together. So just come out with a performance like that, huge confidence boost for our team.
Aside from your offensive performance, who were some other guys on the offensive side that kind of helped the team today?
Our linemen played phenomenal. The few sacks that I had were on my fault. I had to switch the play, and I just, I didn't switch the play because I didn't see it in time. But our line played phenomenal. Dalton Byerly, obviously, 4 touchdowns, 200-plus receiving yards, had a good game. Cal McCullough on defense was strapping everything up. He had a good game on the receiving side too. Obviously, Aiden Pushkar with that final touchdown at the end, stood up the game for us.
And what was that feeling like, getting that essentially game-winning touchdown there at the end?
I mean, it felt amazing. I threw the ball up, and I got absolutely pummeled, so I'm on the ground. I don't know where the ball is at. I'm just sitting on the ground, head over my hands on my head. All of a sudden, I hear the shout and the crowd going crazy. So I look up, I see my receiver with the ball in his hands. Thank you. See his ball in the hands, and he's just making a move downfield, and he scored a touchdown.
Well, congrats on the win, and good luck the rest of the season. Thanks for hopping on the post-game interview, and good luck the rest of the season.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You got to love that, right? When your quarterback throws a game-winning touchdown, what happened? I don't know. I was on the ground. I got pummeled by some guy. My hands are on my head. But I mean, obviously, when you make the play and it comes out in your favor, you guys get a win, and that makes it all the more better. You recover from that hit a little faster, I think, in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do you hear that? You guys get. Being able to make plays under pressure. And that's really what that is. That's making a play under pressure. And you expect the best players to make plays under pressure, but they still have to make them. And Colin made that one.
Yeah, absolutely did. And again, you talk about all the intangibles that he has that makes him one of the top players at District 10, and I think we heard it in that interview. Jared, you asked him what were some of the other players who performed well, and immediately he talks about his offensive line and takes accountability for the sacks that were registered against him, and say, hey, that was my fault. I didn't change the blocking scheme, or I didn't read the coverage correctly. Taking that accountability, and that's one of those key intangibles, I think, especially at the high school level. If you've got a player out there that's got all the talent and everything else, and is willing to take accountability for himself, so they're going to go a long way.
Agree with that. What else? We had a Meadville interview. Did you hear anything about how the Meadville game went?
Before we get to Meadville, let's jump over to another unbelievable game, Jared. And that would have been the Clearfield Tyrone game. Tyrone picked up they're up 21 to, I think it was 21-8 in the third quarter, and looked like they were well on their way to going 1-0. And the Bison, under first-year coach Miles Kerrigan, made Miles's first varsity head coaching win, an exciting one, rallying to win that game 29-21 behind a 100-yard rushing game from Brady Collins, a couple of touchdowns from Carter Crumberlin, Will D'Amico, 112 yards and a touchdown. And Jared, you had a chance to interview Will after that exciting win, and here's what Will had to say after leading the Bison to the come-from-behind win over the Tyrone Golden Eagles.
All right, I got Clearfield's Will Domenico, part of the Generational Wealth Management Saturday morning look-back show. This interview is sponsored by Cole Orthodontic Associates. Will, big win to start off the season for Clearfield, comeback win. Talk about the game some.
The first half, we drove down the field multiple times. We got in the red zone. We just couldn't finish off any of the drives, and they really just had two big plays offensively. So, going into halftime, we kind of knew that we could come back from it. We knew we just needed to put on a really good drive, keep our heads, and keep pushing. I don't think there's very little doubt in that locker room at halftime that we couldn't win that game.
Yeah, and obviously the win's a big one for you guys. New coach this year, and Coach Carrageen. How big is that win for him? And especially since you guys kind of fought back for that comeback win against one of your close rivals of Tyrone.
It's really huge. His first win, and it was one of the losses we had last year. So the really, really big job that we kind of came back from that, and I know it took a lot of pressure off his shoulders as well, now that he got that first one out of the way.
Yeah, what's the transition like? You had Coach Tinoco, who's been there at Clearfield for years and years and years, and get a new coach. I think a lot of people, I don't think anyone really doubted that, but it's just kind of different having a different coach there. So, what was the transition period like for you guys as players?
It took a little while to get used to his offense that he wanted to run, kind of the no huddle and up tempo type of stuff. But I think this type of offense also fits our identity of the team a lot better. The quick guys. It fits me as a quarterback a lot better, and gets me to play a lot better than what I have last year.
Yeah, and speaking of that, you kind of had your season cut short last year. You haven't played football in almost a year, essentially. Maybe 9 months, 10 months or so. But what was it like for you getting back on the field for week one?
It felt great to finally be back there. Missing the end of last year really hurt. I think if we were fully healthy, we could have made a run at it last year. But just being back, it just felt great.
Who were some guys that kind of stepped up on offense for you guys tonight, knowing that obviously you came back from that win, so the offense stepped up, but who were some of the players that highlighted tonight on the offense?
Carter Freeland, me and him have been working all summer on our chemistry and everything, and the first half there was just some miscommunication. I got a lot of pressure. That second half we really kind of just clicked, and it just kind of rolled. Without him making some of the plays that he made, we're not in that ball game.
Yeah, and who were some guys on defense that stepped up for you guys, holding them not to score anymore while you guys came back on offense?
Again, Carter Freeland did a really nice job, but also Brady stepped up a big time defensively, and then Chamberlain also stepped up, and O'Brien Owens. He was a sophomore last year. He was on junior high program, but he made a couple big stops. He forced a fumble in that fourth quarter. He had a pretty big game too.
And getting that week 1 win out of the way, like, what's that say? What kind of confidence do you guys have going into the rest of the season, knowing that, all right, we can come back from a win? Like, what's that say about your team moving forward?
I think that this is just like a huge confidence booster. Like, kind of in the past, every time I feel like we'd get down, we kind of just gave up and like the game was over. But like, this is the first comeback win that I think most of us have been a part of. So I think it's just great for our confidence now knowing that we can make a big comeback like we did tonight.
All right, well, hey, thanks for joining the Generational Wealth Management Saturday morning look back post-game interview. Good luck the rest of the season, and congrats on the win tonight.
Thank you.
Yep.
Will said something there that I've heard a lot of here, and it's not really a knock, I don't think, on Tim Janocko, who was the most successful coach in District 9 history, but I've heard a lot that they feel like Coach Kerrigan has given them more freedom. Younger coach, obviously, versus a guy that had been there 37 years. Things are done differently in 2023 than they were done in 1983. And that doesn't mean that they're right or wrong. They're just different. Athletes are different. They respond differently. And it just seems like the players are really enjoying playing for Myles Kerrigan. And I think that's an important step when you're trying to replace a legend like Tim Janocko. It could have gone a couple of different ways. And I think that the players talk about that freedom, but I don't think that they're talking about it in a negative way, guys.
Yeah, I think we were going to see with Clearfield, especially after I think they graduated most of their line last year. And last year they were more of like a power run type of team. And I think just with the group of skill kids that they had, I knew that they had coming up last year. I feel like I saw this type of offense coming. I didn't get to see them play, but it sounds like that the offense is kind of clicking for them this year. And obviously, like, starting off the season with a big comeback win against a rival, I would say that's a pretty statement win and big confidence boost that Will was talking about.
Guys, let's step aside. I think our sponsor, Generational Wealth Management, here. When we get back, we'll get into taking a look at an interview from Stephen Grayson of Mercyhurst Prep. Andy Close was up there and had a pretty good game up there against Fairview. So, let's step aside here on the Generational Wealth Management Saturday morning look back show.
Whether retirement is just around the corner or years away, John Bongiovanni, Lucas Slazak, and Adam Jack of Generational Wealth Management in Erie and Bradford are here for you. John, a Forbes-recognized best-in-state wealth advisor, Lucas and Adam provide customized investment advisory solutions and retirement planning services. Generational Wealth Management offers world-class investment services and internationally recognized insurance products from Northwestern Mutual, an industry leader. The Generational Wealth Management team provides a high level of expertise and service to their professional and business clients. Contact the Erie office at 814-651-0838 or the Bradford office at 814-368-4065 or check them out online at gwm.nm.com.
Yeah, we're back here on the Generational Wealth Management Saturday morning look back show, and Mercyhurst Prep with a big win over Fairview 43-14. And I think we all thought that was going to be a bit of a closer game going in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know people around District 10 are all very high on Mercyhurst Prep this year, but again, to come out and just get a dominating win like that against what should be a really solid Fairview team, I think maybe opens some people's eyes to even more so as what Mercyhurst Prep is capable of this year. Before we get too far into it, Chris, I was looking at some stuff and I saw this little nugget going back to the Sharpsville Wilmington game. This comes from Ryan Briggs, the professor down there. Heading into or prior to this game, Wilmington, when they scored 40 or more points, had been 148-0. Scoring 40 or more points. So just another interesting little nugget. Again, all credit to Ryan Briggs.
If I'm not mistaken, that's a matchup of father-in-law versus son-in-law, is it not?
I believe you're correct.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
But yeah, just something I
a little bit of
happened to see.
Thanksgiving, a little bit of Thanksgiving dinner bragging rights
Yeah,
at stake there. Now back to that Mercyhurst Prep game. Really, it was about the running attack. I mean, Mercyhurst Prep, my goodness, they ran for over 300 yards, 320, 192 from Jeremy Ganka, 105 from sophomore quarterback Paul Johnson. The man that we're going to hear in the interview here, Stephon Grayson, 20-yard touchdown, and really that's about that. That says a lot about the Lakers' offensive line. Is what that.
well, and it's just a whole different philosophy when you go from having a quarterback like they did last year, a Baum, who was just throwing the ball all over the place, and now you're doing almost a complete 180 here offensively, and really leaning into that run game as those stats just showed. And I think that's what we can expect primarily from this Lakers team this year.
Yeah, here's Grayson's interview with our very own Andy Close.
Great start to the season. How would you assess your guys' performance tonight?
Tonight, I feel like we played phenomenal. Moving the football down the field, running the ball. We didn't throw much, but still moved the ball down the field.
And you guys, it was a bunch of you carrying the ball. Talk a little bit about your offensive line. What it was like running behind them?
Running behind them is lovely. They're big. They like to get physical, and they like to clear holes.
Mm-hmm. And how about defensively? How would you assess how you guys played defensively tonight?
Defensively, I feel like we played lights out. Starting with the D line, it's one in the trenches. So them winning for us made the DB line easier, the linebackers easier, made all the job easier.
Feel good coming out here first game of the season, kind of making a little bit of a statement.
Yeah, it definitely does. Fairview was a tough team to prepare for, though.
Mm-hmm. What's the key to building off of this going forward?
Just getting better every week. Working on the little things like penalties. Getting to the line faster. Just the little things.
All right, thanks so much.
So big win there, and again, they talk, talking about the offensive lines, and really that's what football games are won and lost. And talking about another big win. How about Cameron County with the win over Union AC Valley, 20-19. Game had a little bit of excitement at the end of the game where it looked like Union AC had taken the lead on a long touchdown that was called back on a holding. Everybody that talking a couple people, talking to Dustin Kiefer, who was doing the tape now for Union AC Valley, said it was a legitimate call. 20-19, what a big win for the Cameron County Red Raiders. It's been a while since they could put little feather in their cap, and that's a nice win over a Union AC team that's been pretty good under the direction of first-year head coach Dan Reed. But Dan had been the offensive coordinator there the last couple of years, Keystone. At Union AC, and then obviously longtime head coach at Keystone. So nice win there for Cameron County, Jared.
Yeah, that's a big win for Cameron County. And the interview that I got, I talked to him about how Cameron County did kind of like finish last year's season kind of strong, and I think maybe some of that momentum from last year kind of carried over into the summer.
That's a really good point, Jared. Very good point there about how strong they finished last year. So you got an opportunity to interview Jessup Faribaugh from the Cameron County Red Raiders, and here's what he had to say about their win over Union AC Valley last night.
All right, I got Jessup Faribaugh from Cameron County, part of the Generational Wealth Management Saturday morning look back. This interview is sponsored by Cole Orthodontic Associates, offices in DuBois, Ridgeway, St. Mary's, and Warren. It's easy to get your game-winning smile at Cole Orthodontic Associates. So Jessup, big win to start the season off against Union, a close win 2019. Talk about the game some.
Well, it was a wild ride. First quarter, kickoff. They score on the first drive, which made everybody nervous because we thought our defense was our best and our strong suit. Now, especially going on to that our first drive, which we got stopped. Feel like everybody was very nervous then, and then after that we came together and we started pulling together as a team, scoring and winning.
Yeah, so, Cameron County, you guys didn't really have the hot start last season. You kind of, finished the season off pretty well. Do you feel like that kind of carried some momentum into last season, into this week one win?
Yeah, I feel like it put anger into many of the returners. They were mad about the season last year, and they all put in the work at camp and came together as a team quickly and led us to victory.
Since the game was so close there, I guess the defense obviously kind of stepped up. Who were some of the guys on defense that stepped up for you guys?
We have a new kid on our team. His name's Andrew Gazer. He came here last year, and he really stepped up on defense. First year playing football, he stepped it up on defense. And I feel like our freshman linebacker, Camden Fergali, he really stepped up on both sides of the ball, actually, offense and defense. And I feel like that's what helped us.
And at what point of the game did you guys know that, like, all right, we got this win? What point was that for you guys?
I'd say about halftime. That was really because we scored again, and then we're more of a second half team, so we had more confidence coming into the second half of the game, and they looked like they were tired and out of breath and stuff, and we just beat them by conditioning.
Getting a big week 1 win to start the season against a pretty good Union team who brought back a lot of kids or whatever, to win like that, what kind of confidence does that give you guys going into next week and the rest of the season?
Oh, that gives us a whole bunch of confidence, especially in the seniors and throughout everybody. The freshmen stepped it up, the freshmen that played, and everybody stepped it up. It felt like a whole entire different team.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, Giselle, for joining the Generational Wealth Management Saturday morning look back show. Good luck the rest of the season, and congrats on the win.
Thank you.
With convenient locations in DuBois, Ridgeway, St. Mary's, and Warren, you don't have to travel far to get your game-winning smile with Cole Orthodontic Associates. The orthodontists of Cole Orthodontic Associates have been crafting beautiful, healthy smiles in North Central Pennsylvania since 1960. Born and raised in the area, the doctors and staff at Cole Orthodontic Associates are committed to the people of this region. Visit colesmiles.net to schedule an appointment or consultation at the location nearest you today.
Flipping over to staying kind of up in that, I guess if you look at it, North Tier League for basketball, those teams up in the northern along the Route 6 corridor. What a win by Coudersport. Who raise your hand right now if you saw Coudersport 36, Keystone nothing? Yeah, me neither. Not. It wasn't even in the. Never didn't see that coming at all. And the interesting thing was it was just it was really just doing it on the ground. Ethan Ott had a couple of touchdowns. Gavin Ayers had a couple of rushing touchdowns. It was they were able to really do it with that. Ethan Ott 3-yard run, 11-yard run. Gavin Ayers 65-yard run, 13-yard run is really what it was about. Owen Dushlander all had an interception return for a touchdown, and but man, I just didn't see that coming. Not even not anywhere close to did I see the Coudersport just completely blowing Keystone out of the water. I thought they could win the game, but I didn't think it was going to be 36-0.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I didn't see a score like that. It was even both the Union and Keystone going up there. I wasn't expecting them both to lose up there, and especially getting shut out like that. That's unexpected from my part.
Yeah, well, we had an opportunity, Jared, to talk to Cohen. Was it Cohen, right? Is that how you pronounce
John
it?
Wright.
What?
John Wright.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you have it in our system as KOHN instead of JOHN. I get it. John Wright of Coudersport. Here's what John had to say about the win.
All right, I got Coudersport quarterback John Wright on our General Wealth Management Saturday morning look back show. John, big 36-0 win over Keystone tonight. Talk a little bit about the game.
I was good to let you know I was actually moved back to running back. Gavin Ayers came back in.
Oh, okay.
But we came in with the underdog mentality. We had been seeing the polls that people had put out, and we had we know everyone was picking us to lose, and we went over there last year first, and they beat us pretty handedly. So we wanted that back. We were all focused, and we just went to war.
Yeah, would you say that's like a good? I know, like, so you're using that kind of as like some motivation or whatever, as like kind of like the underdog story this year.
Yeah, we were really using it underdog story. That's how we told ourselves said we're underdogs here, and we got to go out and send a message to District 9, and I think we did that tonight.
How big is that to you guys? You know, you guys didn't have the best end of the season last year, losing to Brockway in the first round, but then you start off with a shutout victory, to say the least. You know, like, so how big is that for you guys' confidence boost, especially this early in the season in week 1?
Oh, I mean, it's huge. We had a lot of people that didn't really believe in us. We were kind of, like I said, underdogs again, and we came in after Brockway, and everyone thought, oh, we lost a bunch of our senior linemen and everything, but our line really stepped up today, and our defense played shutout, as you can see, and I'll really give kudos to our coaches and everything for putting in as many hours as they do and getting us ready for these kind of games.
Yeah, who was some of the key plays or playmakers or on offense for you guys?
Oh, definitely Gavin Ayers tonight. He was just a genius tonight with calling his plays and making audibles at the line. He pulled a couple runs and broke them for a big touchdown. I think there was one in the second, right at the end of the second quarter, actually. It was supposed to be a reverse, and he pulled it and ran probably 60 yards for a touchdown.
And you credited the defense. Like, who were some people that kind of stepped up on defense for you guys?
Our defensive line as a whole played incredible, from the end to the end, and then our secondary, they played really well too. I don't think they maybe caught 1-2 passes the whole game, and other than that, there was great breaks ups. And then Gavin and I are the anchors in the middle, and I think we both had a couple not strip sacks, but fumbles, forced fumbles. Gavin was really just ball hunting today. We both were, and we got a couple. I don't know how many turnovers there was, but we had to have gotten at least 3 or 4 fumble recoveries.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for joining our post-game interview. We got this interview is sponsored by Cole Orthodontic Associates. So thanks, John, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you, JB. I'll see you later.
See you later, man.
Looking for affordable auto, home, and life insurance? Look no further than Allstate Insurance, the David Jones Agency in Clarion and Meadville. At the David Jones Agency, you get personalized attention from someone who lives where you do. The David Jones Agency meets you where you are. They are available during regular business hours, Monday through Friday at their office, via appointment at the office after hours, or remotely. The David Jones Agency also offers investment opportunities, including annuities and IRAs. The David Jones Agency can be reached in Clarion at 814-223-4000 and in Meadville at 814-337-5107.
Hey, speaking of Meadville, the Meadville Bulldogs had an exciting win last night over the Corey Beavers, 27-14. Good start to the season for Meadville there, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most people expected Meadville would probably come away with the win in this one. But again, it's a team that's comes into the season, had a lot of questions about, who's gonna step up. You lose a really super talented, do it all player like Kalon Simmons. Along with they had some obviously some other losses as well, but there's always questions about who's going to step up, who's going to come next. But it's just seems like forever and a day now. The Meadville Bulldogs have really just churned out high quality running backs after running backs after running backs. Got a couple of rushing touchdowns last night from Braden Miller, had another one from Jordan Lawrence. So, really that Meadville program, it seems like it doesn't really matter who's taking those handoffs. They're able to just churn out the yards and be successful.
It's a program. They built themselves a program in Meadville. That's what happens in programs. Obviously everybody knows Journey Brown and what he did there, but it's just year after year after year, they find, they know what they want to do. They know how to play football, and the kids work at it. It's a real key thing. And one of those kids working at it, Nick Williams, Jared had an opportunity to talk to Nick after the game last night.
All right, I got Nick Williams from Meadville, part of our Generational Wealth Management Saturday morning look back. Big win for you guys to start off the year. Talk about the game some.
We knew going into it with, the loss of our big senior class last year that it was going to be a good game. Going 2-0, you can't really expect to go 3-0 without a challenge. So Corey brought their best, and we just had to hang in until the end.
Yeah, defensively, held them to 14 points. Talk about some guys that kind of stepped up on defense to kind of keep that lead.
A big step up with our linebackers, filling in the gaps and stuff, covering the middle routes and everything, and our safety closing down on all the tackles was huge.
Offensively, what kind of worked for you guys? 27 points on the board. Offense was kind of there tonight. So who are some of the standouts tonight on offense?
Our fullback Jordan Lawrence, he was a big step up. He first year varsity, and he knew what he had to do, and he stepped up big time when we needed him.
And what kind of offense or what kind of confidence boost does this guys give you for a win early on the season?
Just knowing that we're still the Meadville Bulldogs that we were before, just giving everybody that confidence boost, hey, this is what it is like to play varsity, and to come out with a win just feels even better.
All right, Nick. Well, hey, thanks for hopping on this interview. This interview was brought to you by Cole Orthodontic Associates. So thank you, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Another big game. We don't have an interview from this one, unfortunately, but DuBois going down to Karn City and coming away with a nice win, 41-36. A lot of high scoring stuff. Second year in a row, the Beavers have beaten Karn City. Last year, a bit of surprise, I guess to me. This year, not a surprise, as I picked DuBois to win that game. But your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of with you, Chris. I felt like, I had a chance to talk to DuBois at the D9 football media day, and you could just tell by the way that they were carrying themselves, all the way back on August 1st, that this was a team that's coming into this season focused and ready to compete. And you saw it on the field last night.
Yeah, I think they're building their program up pretty good. I know they had a better season last year than they've had previous years to that, so I think it's only something they can build on this year, and they obviously showed that with a good statement win week 1 against Karn City, a pretty good Karn City team to say the least. So
they have a big game next week against Brockway. Obviously it's not a divisional game, a regional game for them, but it was a game that came down to the wire last year, and Brockway plays later on today at Kane, opening up that beautiful facility, beautiful new turf field at Kane High School. But it was it should be a great game, and if they can come out of there with a win, the Beavers all of a sudden do they challenge Central Clarion possibly for that region supremacy?
It's absolutely a possibility, and you never know what a big early season win can do for a team throughout the rest of the year. I mean, we see it all the time, again, especially at this level, that once teams get that confidence and they realize, hey, we can hang with the teams that are everybody expects to be the top notch, within their region, within their district, whatever. Now they come out, they play a little more loose, they're a little more free. They're able to come out with that confidence, and it can lead to big things.
No question there for sure that's happening. And talking about a team, and we heard a lot of talk about, they had to replace a lot of their skill players, and that's Port Allegany. But there's a reason they were my preseason favorite to win District 9 again, and that's with all due respect to the Red Bank Valleys and the Brockways of the world. But the up front boys at Port Allegany, and they showed it again tonight, is they just thrashed right past Ridgeway 40-0 was that score, and it's all about the boys up there at Port Allegany, isn't it?
yeah, I'd agree with that. Chris. I think that Port Allegheny's, especially last year, after having a strong season last year, I think they're just going to continue building the momentum that they had, the offense that they have, and I can see Port Allegheny having another really good season.
Yeah, the question was who was going to replace Noah Archer at running back. Well, they got that answer to hurry. His name is Peyton Fowles. He scored 4 touchdowns, ran 14 times for 71 yards. Aiden Bliss, 9 for 88 and a touchdown. Nick Wilfong threw for a touchdown. Really, as long as you have athletes behind that offensive line, I don't think it really matters, you know, who you've got back there. If you've got athletes, they're going to find ways because that line is really, really good. Best line in District 9. I don't think that's going out on a limb.
Yeah, if you've got that kind of ability and talent up front, where you can basically impose your will as an offensive line and do whatever you want, it's going to lead to a lot of success offensively for you.
One of those offensive linemen, Carson Neely, who was our YDL Sports Network Offensive Lineman of the Year last year, as only a sophomore. Jared had a chance to sit down with him and talk about the win over Ridgeway.
All right, I got Port Allegheny's Carson Neely. Week 1 win. Seems like you guys are right back to where you left off last year in District 9 competition with a 40-0 win over Ridgeway. Talk about the game some.
Yeah, came off pretty slow, but definitely our memo and for the rest of the season is just hitting them in the mouth within the rules of the game, taking over up front, just ground and pounding the football.
This is a different Port Allegheny team than we saw last year. I mean, you guys lost some big key name players, Drew Evans, Archer, Moses, or whatever. Like, how do you guys continue that dominance of this game into this year with a whole new team?
Yeah, you can never replace those 3. Those are just absolute great ball players. But we do have a group of sophomores that are doing really well, and that makes the line have to step up even more with Blaine, Noah, and Drew leaving.
Offensively, you guys look pretty good based off the score or whatever. Like, who were some guys that kind of stepped up on offense for you guys?
Tristan Kaiser and Payne Styles had a heck of a night.
All right. What about the defensive side? Obviously, you got that goose egg up there for the defense. So, talk about the defensive tonight.
Yeah, you love to see that donut up there, and definitely Aiden Bliss, Miska Young, Braylon Button, and Yuso Young. They all had really good games defensively.
Yeah, and obviously winning week 1 is super important, but how big is this for you guys? Confidence boost knowing, like, all right, we got that first win out of the way. Like, what's that say for you guys the rest of the season?
Yeah, we got it. We're going to love it up for a couple days, but we're on week 2 after that.
All right, well, hey, Carson, thanks for joining our Generational Wealth Management Saturday morning look-back show. This interview was sponsored by Cole Orthodontic Associates. They have offices in DuBois, Ridgeway, St. Mary's, and Warren. So, hey, thanks for joining, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
Whether retirement is just around the corner or years away, John Bongiovanni, Lucas Slazak, and Adam Jack of Generational Wealth Management in Erie and Bradford are here for you. John, a Forbes-recognized best-in-state wealth advisor, Lucas and Adam provide customized investment advisory solutions and retirement planning services. Generational Wealth Management offers world-class investment services and internationally recognized insurance products from Northwestern Mutual, an industry leader. The Generational Wealth Management team provides a high level of expertise and service to their professional and business clients. Contact the Erie office at 814-651-0838 or the Bradford office at 814-368-4065 or check them out online at gwm.nm.com.
Well, guys, back here at Generational Wealth Management Saturday morning look back. Was there anything else that surprised you guys in either district last night?
Well, see, now you got to make me think about it, Chris. Got to refresh my memory here.
District 9-wise, I think we kind of covered all the.
We didn't really talk about Mercer 31, Iroquois 28. That was a pretty good game in District 10 last night. Oil City 76 points against Warren. I don't know if that says more about Warren or more about Oil City at the end of the day, but Ethan Knox, another 200-yard gain, 218, and I'm sure he didn't play very much in the second half, Brian.
Yeah, I was getting some updates from some folks that were down in Oil City, and my understanding was it was about 30-0 at the end of the first quarter. So probably not a whole lot of action for Mr. Knox beyond the second quarter last night. And I think it's a little bit, a little bit of both. Where you said, who does it say more about? I mean, this is a very young Warren team against a fairly experienced Oil City team, and one of the struggles is that the Dragons are going to have this season. They don't have a lot of size up front, and that's been a trend that's plagued not just them, but all the three teams in Warren County. There's just not a whole lot of size up front for any of these teams, and when you get in there against a big physical, strong team like Oil City, it's going to cost you.
And then the Erie Royals hit a grand slam, but that was all. They had 4 points. You don't see a final score of 4 very often. They lost 14-4 to Euclid, Ohio, but you definitely don't see that. That's a weird final score to see.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the Royals, on the wrong end of that one, but still an interesting score that I wanted to point out. 14-4 there, and really. And then, no real surprise. Archbishop Hoban of Ohio, really a powerhouse over there. Just boat racing Cathedral Prep, 44-12. I don't think that says that it's not going to be a good year for Prep. I just think that tells you how good Archbishop Hoban is.
Well, I think a lot of people made that mistake last year, Chris, when Cathedral Prep kind of got off to that slow start because they were playing teams like Archbishop Hoban and getting some lopsided scores, and then they came back to District 10 and came back within the state of Pennsylvania, and you saw how good they really were. And how about another good one up there in Erie County? Girard with a 1-point win over Northwestern in overtime. I think that's a big win for the Jackets. That's a team that's kind of been on the verge of maybe hitting 500 or better the last couple of years. To come out and get a big week 1 win like that in overtime. Again, you talk about those early season wins and how they can build confidence.
And remember, folks, you can check out all the scores on D9and10sports.com, part of the YDL Sports Network. And we'll have a live Friday night football scoreboard. Nick Riccobino running that for us every Friday night. You can hop on as the games are going on and see that. And just a quick reminder, next week, broadcast, I've got Port Allegheny against Central Clarion from Central Clarion. My broadcast partner, Larry Weiser, having the field named for him at Central Clarion. Be Weiser Field. I would say Clarion High School. They play some of their games at Clarion High School, some of it at Clarion Limestone. Haven't played at that field, Brian, in 20 years. What'll be now known as Weiser Field. It'll be the first varsity football game since 2003 played there. So kind of looking forward to that. What do you have next week, Brian?
So I will be down at War Memorial Field in Warren as the Dragons come home for their season opener. Going to welcome in the Sharon Tigers, who again are playing later today. And again, should be an interesting one. Be one of my first time seeing Sharon, I think, in person since we moved back from Colorado. So it's been a while since I got a chance to see the Tigers in action. Should be a good one next week from War Memorial Field. And again, it's we'll see how this young Dragons team bounces back after a lopsided loss like they had last night.
Well, we know Jared's got happy birthday to Jared's girlfriend. Taking her out. You got something nice planned for her, right, Jared?
Hershey Park this weekend. Back-to-back days of probably eating more chocolate than I should, and probably not going to ride spinny rides because I am not good at. I don't like spinny rides or anything.
Yeah, well, you better bring Brian and I back some chocolate. Come on, man.
What do you guys want?
Mr. Goodbar. That's a Hershey.
Yeah.
Park,
oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Goodbar.
Yeah.
Mr. Goodbar. Mr. Goodbar is the best. I think
No.
That's high up. That's high up on my list. That's high up on my list. We'll do that. Just look at the schedule here as we've got about 50 seconds left in the show. Bucktail at Sheffield. The Wolverines looking for a win for the first time in a couple of years. Brockway opens up that great new facility at Kane in District 9. Harbor Creek's at Hickory. That should be an interesting game in District 10. Reynolds at Union City, the defending 2 or 3 time defending champion Raiders Should make things interesting there. Neshannock is at Sharon in a WPIL District 10 crossover, and then Kennedy Catholic at Cambridge Springs. There should be some interesting games. Once again, we want to thank our name sponsor, Generational Wealth Management, for helping bring this show. We'll have this show, folks, every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. right here on the YDL Sports Network. For Jared Bacaiza and Brian Hagberg, this is Chris Rossetti saying